But every time Cardi got to a place where her career was about to have a breakthrough, he would get her pregnant. As you know, I have been dedicating the last couple of months breaking down the J-Lo Ben Affleck relationship and the impending divorce that's coming. And by the way, guys, I think the announcement is any minute now. They're going to be announcing. I just don't see them dragging this any longer, especially now that Ben has bought a new place. And it's rumored that J-Lo was not told about this. This happened behind her back. She's not very happy. The announcement might come today. She traditionally tends to announce her divorces on a Friday, so today might be the day. But I have been talking about that relationship a lot in the last couple of months. But now recently we've had this situation where Cardi B, just 2 days ago, I believe, she filed for divorce, and then yesterday she made the official announcement that she was pregnant. Now, I have been wanting to talk about that relationship, but I felt funny talking about it and not mentioning her pregnancy. And I also felt funny talking about her pregnancy without her first announcing it. So I was holding back on talking about that. But boy, do I have thoughts on that. But before I go into that, please consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like to hear me talk about pop culture, celebrity gossip, business news, anything that is in current events, except for politics. I try to stay away from that. So yeah, please subscribe to my channel and let's get into it. This is not going to be a very long video, but I wanted to talk about Cardi B and Offset. I've never talked about them in my channel, but on this topic of relationships and relationship dynamics and gender roles, I feel like I have some thoughts I would like to share on this relationship. We all know Cardi B. She kind of blew up into pop culture through her role in Love and Hip Hop. But even before that, she was pretty famous on Instagram because she was somebody who was very funny and she would do little commentary here and there, which then landed her role on Love and Hip Hop. And she has made waves as a rapper. But lately, Cardi has been mostly in the news because of argument that she has, either with her fans, with other rappers, mainly Nicki Minaj, but then others who anybody who criticizes her in the least gets her attention, and then she goes off on her social media. She seems to be somebody who's very sensitive, who cannot take criticism, who cannot take anybody mentioning her name in anything less than positive terms. She's married to Offset, who became famous as being a member of the Migos, which was a rap group. Since then has disintegrated. There was a falling out between apparently Offset and Quavo. And we know Takeoff sadly passed away, RIP to him. But since then, we don't really hear much about Offset. And to be honest, once Cardi's career took off, he was never really the famous or the most famous one in his relationship. And I believe that that was a problem. I believe that Offset has always resented the fact that Cardi is more famous than him. Apparently, when they met, she was still kind of a meme celebrity. He was the big celebrity in that relationship. And so I think at the very beginning, he really enjoyed the dynamic they had between them. He was the big celebrity. He was a member of the Migos. And she was Cardi B, this just up and coming, funny personality. But once her first single, Bodak Yellow, popped off, and then she released her first album, Invasion of Privacy, it's never even been a competition. It's never even been close. She became the huge celebrity in that relationship. She was the one on the cover of Vogue magazine. She was the one getting invited to all the main events, all the awards. Everybody wants to see Cardi. She's the one filling out the auditoriums and the stadiums. In the music festivals, everybody's excited to see her. And now Offset became her plus one. And once that happened, I think the relationship started to really sour. Now, I don't want to go as far as to say that at the beginning of their relationship, he was very faithful to her. After all, he's a rapper in Atlanta. So maybe infidelity was something that was always happening in their relationship. But once Cardi really blew up, that's when things became more visible. Women that he was having relationships with started exposing him. Even women were making up stories. But it became this big problem once Cardi blew up. And I saw a tweet yesterday and it encapsulated perfectly what I was thinking. Women didn't really want Offset. no offense, but you guys like him? He's just not my type. I don't find him handsome whatsoever. Not even in the least. But it wasn't really him that they wanted. They wanted Cardi's man. They wanted to be able to say, I took her man, or I had her man for an hour, or for a season, or whatever it was. But I believe that once she became the biggest star in their relationship, it was a problem for him. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you've noticed, but every time Cardi got to a place where her career was about to have a breakthrough, he would get her pregnant. Her whole rollout of her first album was while she was heavily pregnant with her daughter. She spent a lot of time hiding the pregnancy, not really doing a lot of public appearances because she wasn't ready to announce her pregnancy. And finally, when she performed at SNL, that's a pretty big thing. She performed at SNL, and that's when she finally revealed her growing belly. That's when everybody found out, okay, it's official, she is pregnant. But this was at the cusp of her career. This was at the time when she should have been able to really milk her fame, because that's when Cardi peaked. I don't believe the next album or any other music that she puts out next time is ever going to be as big as when she released Bodak Yellow and then Invasion of Privacy. That was her peak. That was her moment to strike while the iron was still hot. She should have gone on a tour. She should have been doing every music festival. She should have been doing all the interviews. She should have been in every event, because that was the moment for her to milk her fame for all it had. But she couldn't do that because she was heavily pregnant, and then she went off to be a mom to her newborn, and she spent years just taking care of that child. Then when her next big moment happened, when she released WAP with Meg Thee Stallion, got pregnant again. That video for WAP, the single, when it was released, I remember this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was in 2020. Everybody was home and the video came out, and it was this big cultural moment. But she couldn't do much with that either, because then she was pregnant. The first time she and Meg performed that song together, I think it was at was it the Grammys or the BET Awards or one of these big awards? They performed and you could see her stomach. You could see that she was pregnant again. And here we go. Now that she was ready to release her sophomore album, she was ready to finally, people have been begging her for years. When is the next album coming? When is it coming? When is it coming? Here she is pregnant again. But this time she's divorcing him. This time she has had enough of the shenanigans, of the infidelity, of the games. This is how bad this man has treated Cardi. Cardi pled guilty to sending grown men to beat up two women, two sisters, Jade and Batty G, I believe that's their names, because Jade was caught having an affair with Offset. And Cardi, instead of handling the man who cheated on her, she sent men to beat up these two women. And she had to plead guilty, and she was found guilty of a pretty serious felony. Now, lucky for her, she's a big celebrity. She was able to get some really good lawyers, and she didn't have to do any time in prison. But that was a pretty big deal, what she did. And can you believe Offset can't stay away from Jade? He continues to go after this woman while Cardi was still in the midst of dealing with that case that she brought upon herself. He was still trying to message Jade, and then Jade exposed the messages, and that was that time that he was pretending that his social media got hacked. Like, people are stupid. Like, people really think that if you get hacked, the hacker, the first thing he's gonna do is message the woman you cheated on Cardi with a message of, I miss you, girl. Come on, Offset. And the fact that Cardi played along with that, because it was so obvious what he did, that he did that, and Cardi played along with that to kind of save face. But, that's how little respect he has for her. And recently, because at the time when Jade exposed him, at the time she was with another rapper, she was with 6ix9ine at the time. So, being a faithful girlfriend to him, she went ahead and exposed that Offset was trying to message her. But then after her and 6ix9ine broke up, He flew her to Miami. He was doing something, some kind of a concert. He flew her out there. She was there. She was photographed at the event, and she was posting pictures of herself looking really pretty. The next morning, she took pictures of herself at a hotel. That was to let Cardi know, yeah, you may have sent your goons and did all this and had to plead guilty, but I still got your man. Embarrassing. That was that time that Cardi had a meltdown talking about how Offset, he's always treated her bad no matter what she does. He can't respect them. It was horrible. She's been putting up with a lot. So I'm happy that she finally said, enough is enough. It's time to leave. But it took too long, in my opinion. She should have left a long time ago. But I don't want to be too harsh on Cardi because I remember watching a video commentator talking about the fact that Cardi comes from an environment where men are scarce. A lot of men are incarcerated. Those who are not incarcerated are getting killed in the streets. And the few men that have managed to escape all of this that's happening in these neighborhoods, because they're so few and far between, they're less likely to settle down because they're thinking, there's so few of us here and all these women, they're looking for a man. Why would I settle with one woman? It wouldn't make any sense. Let me have my fun. Let me enjoy as many as will have me. So for girls like Cardi growing up in that environment, when you manage to get a man to somewhat commit to you, you're not very likely to let go of that man. You're going to hold on to him for as long as you can to just be in that rare position of being the main girl, the principal girl, the one wearing the ring, the one living in the big house and with the legitimate children. I understand that things are different for girls like Cardi. But now Cardi, being the rare exception, to have all the resources she needs and the access to give herself and her children whatever life she wants to have, she is now able to walk away, to say, I did my best. I tried my best. I did everything I could to save this relationship. And now it's time for me to move on. Good for her. Good for her. And she'll be just fine. If she learns from this relationship, if she learns from the patterns of behavior, if she understands that, okay, when I was in those circumstances, when I was in that environment, I didn't have much choices. I had to settle for these type of men because that's all that was around me. And that's what I was conditioned to believe is what I wanted. If she can understand, if she can be very self-conscious about these patterns of thinking and realize that, well, none of that served me. It wasn't good for me. And she can tell herself, I am not under those circumstances anymore. My choices are not limited. I can do better next time. She can find herself in the relationship with the real ideal partner, somebody who wants to be a family man, somebody who doesn't come from that scarce mentality of, hey, let me have as many women as I can because tomorrow is not promised. And instead find somebody who is more long-term minded, somebody who says, you know what, I'm a good man, I'm a healthy man, I'm a successful man, I want to live as long as possible, I want to leave a respectable legacy behind me, and I want to be a good husband to a good wife. Those men, Cardi, are now available to you. Simply because you find yourself in rooms where as a younger woman, you could not even imagine yourself. Seek out better for you and your children. Because it's not just having money and taking your kids to Disneyland and traveling the world in private jets. It's those moments that take up 90% of your time. Those boring moments when everybody's at home. What's that environment like? Is it loving? Is it respectful? Do you sleep comfortable at night, not wondering where your husband might be? Those are the things that you really need to prioritize moving forward. You've already taken a very difficult step of stepping away from this man. And this is not the first time that Cardi has filed for divorce. I believe this is maybe the third time. No, maybe the second time that she has filed for divorce, but probably the fourth time that she has broken up with this man. I don't know. I feel like this time is different. The fact that she filed and then the next day she made the announcement of the pregnancy, I think this time she's really serious about this. And I think there is so much embarrassment, public embarrassment that she has already gone through, that is like, you know what? Holding on for what? At this point, holding on for what? It is sad that she had to keep this pregnancy a secret for so long. I mean, imagine being in a marriage so bad that you are embarrassed to admit that you are pregnant with your husband's child. That's how bad this marriage is. And I saw a couple people suggesting that maybe that's not Offset's kid because they've been separated for such a long time. I've known for a while that they have been separated for at least a year. Offset, he stays in Atlanta. That's his hometown. He loves being there. Cardi is mostly here in LA. This is where she spends most of her time, and I think her kids are in school here. So they've been living very separate lives. And so is it possible that she has found somebody new and she is expecting somebody else's kid? I doubt it. I doubt it very much, because it's very clear to everybody that she really tried to hold on to that marriage, but it just didn't work. And I just hope that she remembers, that all of us, as we watch this play out, remember that it is not the mistake that you need to hold on to or obsess about. Just learn the lesson. If you learn the lesson, the mistake was kind of worth it. So this was my little video. I just wanted to give my 2 cents on this. We are still on Bennifer Divorce Watch. I believe we're going to get the official word very soon. Expect a word of them announcing. They're going to come up with a joint announcement. Jen and Ben are going to announce that the relationship didn't work out, that they tried very hard. I believe there's going to be a separate announcement coming from Ben, where he's going to throw all the flowers to J-Lo. He's going to say, I've been hearing a lot of people saying some negative things about her. That is not true. She's not the reason for this divorce. I take responsibility. I'm the one who couldn't stick the landing. J-Lo is a wonderful mom. She was a wonderful wife. She's not the terrible person that she's being portrayed as. Expect to hear that from Ben. I'm personally thinking, I was thinking that they were going to wait for the announcement until after they sold their joint house, the $68 million house that they're trying to sell. I don't know when that's going to sell. But now that Ben has moved on, he bought a new house, and J-Lo has just sold her New York apartment. I think they were getting ready to make the announcement. And I think J-Lo, like I said in my last week's video, she was so hurt that he didn't show up for her birthday. And then to hear that that same day he bought himself a house. Yeah, I think she's ready to really cut the cord and stop pretending. So when that happens, I will come back with my thoughts on that. Because remember, we're not just trying to gossip. There are lessons in all these things happening. And because they're happening in the public eye through these celebrities, it makes it easier for us to extract lessons from them. So always look at it from that point of view. Let's have compassion for them, but also call out the truth when we need to call out the truth. Ben and J-Lo should have never gotten together. Jennifer needs to learn to be by herself. Ben needs to get himself together. Cardi needs to find self-love so that next time she doesn't make the same mistake with the same type of man. Offset needs to, chill. Just chill, dude. Don't get married after this. Don't get married. Just chill. Yeah, there are lessons in every situation that we can benefit from. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see me do more commentary. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Share it on your social media if you think this is something that is interesting. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about what I just talked about. Once again, thank you so much for watching this video. Watch my other videos in my videography, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.